to the post meeting. We have feedback. Today is August 1st, 2024. The time is 10:32 in the morning. I am Vincent Perez, and along with me is Mr. John Zama. I'm going to go through the agenda, and we might do things a little out of order because we have a special guest today, but we also need to get a motion to be able to receive the guest. So I'm calling this meeting to order, and I will be going through the names. And if you're here, please say present. Guam Police Department. Present. Guam Airport Police. Present. Guam Port Police.
Present.
Guam Attorney General.
Present.
Guam Customs and Quarantine. Present. Guam Department of Corrections.
Present.
Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources. Guam Department of Agriculture.
Present.
University of Guam. Guam Community College. Unified Courts of Guam, Marshal Judiciary. Guam Fire Department. Unified Courts of Guam, Probation.
Here, present.
Guam Department of Administration, Personnel Services Division.
Present.
Department of Youth Affairs.
Present.
GIAA Aircraft Rescue Firefighting, ARF. Department of Parks and Recreation. Okay, we have a quorum. As I said, we're probably going to do things a little out of order. As soon as we get the minutes, we will pass it along and give you some time to be able to review it and make remarks as necessary. We will now go on to agenda item 3. Remarks from the chairman and the vice chairman. I don't have any remarks at this moment. And the vice chair is not here. I don't know if the executive director would like to make a few remarks at this time.
Not at this time, sir.
Okay. Okay, we will go into agenda item 4, old business, but before we do, you want to do that now with
You just need to table it.
oh, okay. We're tabling the whole discussion until later?
I could speak on that. Regarding item number 4, old business, this will be part of the discussion under new business. If it pleases the commission, if somebody would like to make a motion for it to be discussed under old business, under items number 1 and 2, that's cumulative.
So moved.
I second motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. So, are we now moving on to
New business,
the new business?
and unless you want to make the motion to bring that.
Yes, because we want to keep them. Can we get a motion? We have a special guest today. Congressman Moylan is here, and he would like to address the commission. So if I can get a motion to allow for Congressman Moylan to address the body.
I motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so carries.
Okay, sir. I'll just have him sit right here.
Lori, Fire Chief of Customs. On you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, guys, of course, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm addressing. It's okay, thank you. About the second time probably I came before the post years back when I was a senator. We were very, we wanted to do a lot of things to get the post started and funded. So I'm glad to see that it's up and running, and we've got great leaders here, and I appreciate that. So now in Congress, we've worked with, of course, our Marine Corps barracks coming to Guam, and we recognize since way back, even when I was a parole officer, where we had to go for a firing range is inadequate. So through different talks with members of the post and through our staff, we were able to gather the folks from Camp Ben Blas Marine Corps Barracks, the colonel and the gentlemen that run the actual fire range, with your leaders here in the post. And we had a meeting at our office. As I sit down, an open discussion to see what we can do to have the post requirements under the firing range taken, or rather used at the firing range at Camp Ben Blas. So I believe it went very favorable. This is the initial contacts. John Lozama, the chief here, had great experience in understanding the range requirements. And according to the colonel, this is something that would definitely move forward, and would be more than happy to do it. Since the Marines especially are not here yet, he kind of gave the influence that this is a good way to figure out our bugs in the firing range, right? Utilizing our local peace officers' ability to do the firing and shooting. And if there's anything that needs adjustment, he'll be happy to work that out and work with us and continuously run the firing requirements for each of our peace officers in every different department. So he's more than helpful. I think our post leaders and coordinating all this as a one point of contact to the colonel and to the base to schedule things will work out just fine. So I just wanted to give that brief announcement for you folks, and that will continue to work with the post here in setting up the future events for coming. So it looks like it's going to be happening much sooner. If there's any questions for me, I'll be happy to take them. September is when we're looking at the firing to begin, as long as it meets the post requirements.
If I may, Congressman, so what will happen is your respective training and staff folks, your division folks, we will coordinate a site visit with Camp Blas for the training folks to be able to go onto the ranges and see the actual ranges, Mason Range, Skag Range, and all the other ranges that are available. There is a requirement from range control over at Camp Blas that, of course, you have to go through training, OIC training, range safety officer training through Camp Blas. That'll be worked on as well. According to the colonel, we are looking at possibly early fall or late fall this year to start being able to use the range. We are looking at the Guam Police Department because they've already previously coordinated with Camp Blas to be the first entity to use that. We also want to make sure that we don't overuse our stay and so forth. So we're really looking at slowly being aiding for range control. There are administrative stuff that the Post Commission and the leadership at Camp Blas have to get done. But for the folks here, we're looking at doing a site visit in September, which is really next month. And so we will put out the information about the site visit, and then you'll be able to let me know who are those individuals so we can coordinate with Camp Blas range control. Thank you, Congressman.
And if I may, just want to also thank Chief Ignacio, was very instrumental in the early part of getting this started as well. So we had a great relationship as a Team Guam, one team, working with the peace officers and protecting our island and then protecting our nation with the Marines. So I thank you very much. If there's anything else.
Congressman, if I can just mention that, I brought up the conversation and Ron Santos, our training, shared there's some technology like firearms simulations, right? Because it's very expensive and agencies purchase ammunition. And so I had a great experience at the Air National Guard. They actually had a robust firearm simulation. It was Boss's Day. We had an opportunity to shoot, and my former classmate, same last name, Lozama, John Lozama, from FD, was the general up there at the Air National Guard. And on Boss's Day, we all took time, and they have shoot, no shoot kind of simulations right there. And it was really very, very pretty good. of course, you're not out in the daytime, but you're inside an area where they're using that technology. They can show you shot 300 rounds and you missed 250 of them, and it gives you your score or something like that, right? Guam Community College had a firearms simulation, and Guam Police Department, a long time ago, I believe, had a firearms simulation.
We actually have a new federal grant that we were awarded, a de-escalation grant. So we are getting new updated shoot, don't shoot simulators.
So that's the conversation, is that Air National Guard had that capability, and I think former TAG, what's her name, Agagin, she actually chimed in and said possibly even the Guard is interested in that too, for the Guard members for that. But I just wanted to touch base on that, because as a community of law enforcement peace officers, try to find ways also, if we're not able to go up, to these ranges and stuff and all that, a particular, capability of using that kind of firearms, shoot, no shoot situation. They can tailor it toward you're inside a active shooter situation in a prison or jail, or to any kind of scenario the thing could be, with the use of technology, they could come up with programs like that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
If I'm correct, maybe the director of Zama could, clarify or give more information concerning the Q House. And then they have over 200 cameras. They want local law enforcement to be probably one of the first to utilize the Q House, because they need to start adjusting it, applying a bunch of information, things like that. But I think that whatever the military is practically using in their shooting range, they're going to be assisting the law enforcement to use the same facility. If I'm correct?
That's correct. If you look at the Guam Community College range right now, there's a limited number of shooting platforms, shooting stations. So the ability to be able to use Camp Blas will be an advantage. I did advise the folks, the reps at Camp Blas, that we're looking at over 1,200, possibly 1,500 total peace officers that will be required. But the intent is for us to start with the larger agencies and start working the kinks out, because the Guam Police Department initiated the initial contact with Camp Blas, and they've actually done the site visit, that we're moving towards having them start that process, because there's already stuff that they've done in place. Really, for the commission, it's about identifying the point of contact, identifying the individuals that need to be trained on Camp Blas operations, the AOR operations, and the range control procedures, the RSO stuff. But we're looking at all the different facilities, SCAG range, Mason range, range 5 as well, for everybody to use. I did advise the representatives of Camp Blas that for some of our special operations, like our special weapons and tactics, our special enforcement teams, that the need for their kill house or their mount courses, which really what they described it as, is vital for our training needs here at the Post Commission. So yes, we are looking at all those. The site visit is critical, so that we know their capabilities, we know the requirements, and once we sign that agreement with Camp Blas folks, then we will start initiating the use of Camp Blas as our primary firing range.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I'd like to thank, of course, the chief once again, and his efforts and the grants that he's getting, and also, of course, we're going to combine with the Air Force and using their training facilities. But overall, with what we have with Camp Blas coming on up, and the Post Commission leadership, I think will be excellent marksmanships. Everybody will, I feel, even safer. And maybe I should join you guys on the course one day. Okay, but if not, I just want to say thank you very much for your time and your support and your dedication to the Island of Guam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No bother, keep it.
Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item 5, new business. Item number 1 is the post chairman's letter to the governor. So as many of you are aware, there was a letter that was written to the governor's office. As a result, we ended up having a meeting with the governor, and she is supportive of some of the initiatives that we're looking at. And part of the initiative will be discussed. I think I would defer to the executive director to talk about the things that we have lined up in moving forward to support the commission towards this endeavor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So with regards to the item number 1, the chairman, myself, Chief Ignacio, Chief Pareto did have a meeting with the governor and the lieutenant governor. One of the things that, and of course the Department of Administration was there. So there's been a long-standing issue that the commission is required to do, which is to develop the law enforcement pay structure, the leadership structure. Unfortunately, as a commission, we only have one full-time person, and right now that's myself. So in discussion with the governor, the lieutenant governor, we requested that the commission be able to hire a personnel specialist. And the personnel specialist is going to look at the law enforcement structured tier, going to look at all the requirements and start looking at where everybody would sit in this structure. What I advise the governor and the lieutenant governor is that we need the personnel specialist because one of the things we need to do as an organization is to ensure that all of our position descriptions are updated. And for those agencies that have done that, great. For those that have not, then the personnel specialist is going to work with your individuals to do it. If you look at it, it's like the Hay study for law enforcement. And that's the intent, is we're going to look at it, we're going to have the personnel specialist, the folks at Department of Administration, myself, work with each of you agencies individually to make sure that your position descriptions are updated. Before we start slotting anybody in a particular, based on the tier structure, we need to make sure that we're well informed of what their basic duties and responsibilities are. It's going to be difficult if you have not, or your agency has not updated your position descriptions, your duties and responsibilities. So please look into that, agency heads and individuals, because to get through all the agencies. And we have a lot of agencies, but more importantly, we have a lot of positions within each of those agencies that will have to be addressed. The other thing we're looking at is, of course, one of the things on old business has to do with the medical program, the medical profiles, and the decertification process. So in working with DOA personnel, we're looking at solidifying the medical profile program, possibly standing up a comprehensive occupational medical program, and developing just the rules and regs for the commission regarding the decertification process. So there's a lot. It is not anything that's going to happen overnight, folks, but it's work in progress, and once we start, you're going to be getting contacted by DOA, and we're going to set up those meetings with the agencies and even some of your officers to make sure. So please look at your duty descriptions for all your positions. Make sure that that's updated. The qualifications are important. What is the minimum qualifications for each of those positions if you're looking at what it currently is and maybe what you project it to be. So that's with regards to item number 1, sir. We're going to look at those items. You want me to go into item number 2, sir?
Sure.
Okay, so as item number 1 and 2, pretty much the same thing. We're looking at the personnel specialist. The commission is actually recruiting for a program coordinator 3. The program coordinator 3 position will be my training coordinator. They're gonna work with your training and staff folks to develop the training standards, the curriculums, and so forth. We're looking at hiring a full-time administrative assistant that will handle all the admin stuff that needs to occur. Right now, it's kind of difficult with just one person having to do all four things, but with the support of GCC, we've been able to move forward. Between Bertha and myself, we're able to review, process applications within 72 hours. That's provided everything is submitted. And between her and I, we work with the applicants to say, you need to submit this, we need this. So we're working our best, just the two of us, to try to ensure that we have certified folks on board. So
Excuse me,
that's
Executive
correct.
Director, I have a sort of question
yes,
of interest. And because it deals with that general force leadership structure and tier, right? I mean, I've been away from government, and the last time I was at the Post Commission, no, I wasn't a member when I was out, and I left the Department of Veterans Affairs the last time, and I wasn't part of it. But I was questioning and asking Major Lazama, Major Uggan, right? Where did the Post Commission, the authorization, especially when I read Vince Perez' letter, right, to the governor, where did it involve the leadership structure, or for that matter, the pay scale plan and stuff and all that, because you're bringing up almost like the Hayes study stuff. When did the Post Commission get that authorization? And then Major Uggan told me that it was in section 51102.40 authorizing chapter 51 of the PSOC standards, and told me that's where that authorization came out. So I was said, I don't recall a public hearing of a senator proposing to add that, to give the Post Commission those powers to look at pay scale, something normally Department of Administration, Civil Service Commission, when they do their Hayes study consultants. So then I looked further, and then I saw it was authorized under Public Law 36-054. So I was looking, okay, I don't recall a senator introducing that to add those responsibilities to the Post Commission. A budget law, the entire budget law. And then when you look way down on page 150, you find that insertion of the Post Commission getting that power, right? Now, that process, different from a senator saying, hey, I'm gonna hold a public hearing and I want stakeholders to come over and testify, should the Post Commission have this kind of power? The reason why I'm bringing that up, Executive Director Mazama, is because there are some, of course, I always share that I'm hearing plans from our own oversight chair, Senator Barnett, planning to hold a hearing, on Post Commission and these kind of like powers that have been given to the Post Commission and responsibilities, because, training and standards is a whole animal in itself. Now when you start adding, Francis is over here from Department of Administration, Frisco over here, right? And it's a whole different animal too when you're dealing with pay scales and,
if I may,
stuff like that.
I'm sorry, didn't clarify for everybody.
Yeah.
So the commission will develop, the commission members will vote on it, and then that gets forwarded to the Department of Administration. So that's the process. I'm not saying that the commission's gonna vote and it's gonna be approved. I'm saying that we're gonna look at it, we're working with DOA, we're gonna develop those standards. The commission has to vote on that, and then that gets forwarded to the Department of Administration. And the Department of Administration does what they need to do before they make any recommendation, if anything, to the Governor of Guam. So that is the process. I hope I clarified it for everybody. It's not, we're gonna decide what you're gonna get paid. It's gonna go through the administrative review process as well.
Yeah, Lieutenant Regadio, law enforcement section, conservation. I agree with the executive director about the post and understand all of that, because right now we're trading into some avenues right now where with this the letter about parity, about our DO series and trying to be equal with pay and everything, right? Then we have the Mali coming up again. But I believe that, I truly believe that the Post Commission does have a a say, all right, to be fair within our own, you know, agencies and as a whole, as a law enforcement entity. Okay, because, like myself, as one of the smaller law enforcement agencies, right, we've scrambled, okay, for the longest time, and I'm seeing now that, where the post commission is starting to ramp up, especially more important that, Mr. Azama is here now, they're getting all these personnel specialists. We do need the help, and me as a smaller agency, right now, just seeing what Mr. Azama has done for the Department of Agriculture, right? And I'm down to 5 people, 5 officers. I'm double tapping as a lieutenant going on patrol. Okay, so, yes, thank you, Executive Director, and, you know, bringing that up, and I feel going forward with the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, that, we look forward to the Post Commission as being our extra voice, right, to the administration and legislature. Thank you.
Okay, let me just add something in. So going back to something that the executive director was talking about in regards to the law enforcement officer force structure. So one of the things that each entity is going to be responsible for is to ensure in looking at the force structure where your personnel lie. Granted, not all of your personnel will make it all the way up to the top tier. For the most part, you probably find that they'll either be the supervisory tier or the tactical operators on the ground. The most important thing you can do is to take the position, the job specifications, and take what they call is a position description questionnaire, and take a look at the force structure, because it's fairly simple to read, and you find out where your positions lie and whether or not there is room for growth. So once we get this thing moving and we get the personnel specialists on board, and we let you guys know, don't plan on doing it later. I would say plan on doing it right now. Take a look at your positions. And despite the fact that you may be short, you also need to plan for retention, right? And continuity and institutional knowledge. So plan to have somebody take over for you when you leave. In other words, when you came into the position and you see that my agency or my office, we're always going to be short. But if you say, hey boss, we're short, and then that person says, okay, let me bring it up. It's all a matter of funding, right? And what I suggest is to keep fighting for your folks, because I don't understand how, like, if you're trying to run a government operation on behalf of the entire island, right, and you only have like 5 people, and you're expected to do your jurisdiction all over the island, you're setting yourself up for many challenges.
So I'd just like to say quickly, I'm sorry, sir. I'm not anything as far as political, other than I'd just like to put it out there that the governor and lieutenant governor has given me seed money, right, for my apprenticeship program for 15 slots.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some movement, right, some leeway on my funding from the leftover of the general fund. And that's why I'm addressing indirectly about this MAULIC 11.4, right? Now, I'm saying, okay, I understand that task force, but like we just bring it up here, we got agencies and things that all contribute to the law enforcement duties here. Like myself, I've been in so much GPD task force. I've been in a lot of Blue Force, helping with the marshals. I've been called up with the corrections, right, to help with looking for escapees, and now we're helping them with the perimeter security.
Can we stay focused on the discussion?
Yeah, I'm just, I understand, but I'm just,
And
you know.
that discussion, we can have, what we do need to do is, if we're gonna discuss that item, we need to put it on our agenda as a discussion point. We need to stick to the agenda.
Well, to bring that all back together, it all ties in with the administrative support that we're looking at hiring.
Right.
So
So let's
remind-
focus on that.
Yeah, so the reminder really is, take a look at your job specifications, take a look at your personnel and how they would fit. You mentioned something about an apprentice. So if you take a look at the very bottom tier of the force structure, it talks about the apprentice journey, craftsman, master. So these are areas that you can actually expand your positions.
And we're working on that.
Okay.
This year's field books. And I apologize, it's just one of those things because we are talking about the Leo series, and that's where this is.
Okay.
Yeah. Agencies, if you don't have a copy of the structure, I could.
Next.
Moving on to item number 3, amendment to Title 27, Chapter 3, Section 3106B, 1, Category 1. If you look at the current requirements under the post commission, academically, we're only requiring 9 courses. If I've looked at the apprenticeships for the Guam Police Department, Department of Corrections, Customs and Quarantine, and Conservation, and what I'm finding is that there are classes that, in my opinion, as a former law enforcement officer, needs to be included as our mandatory training requirements, which is why I'm recommending to the commission for the amendment to include the adoption of CJ 104, which is Dynamics of Substance Abuse, CJ 132, Emergency Vehicle Operators Course, EVOC, CJ 148, Traffic Law Enforcement, CJ 225, which is Criminal Investigations. If you've looked at the law enforcement certificate requirements for GCC, they are actually receiving 31 credit hours. But if you look at the post standards, it's only 25. So there's a huge disconnect. There's also a huge disconnect when we look at all the apprenticeship programs, because between some of the agencies, your agencies through the apprenticeship are obtaining anywhere from 46 to 49 credits going through the apprenticeship program. But what is the base standard? What is the mandatory classes that we need to ensure that all of our applicants, because I find it frustrating when I get an application from somebody who received a certificate in law enforcement from GCC, only to tell them, according to the post requirement, you didn't take juvenile justice process, so I can't certify you. So we need to ensure that we establish the basic minimum standards for training for all of our applicants. And what I've done is, if you look at the spreadsheet, I don't know if you have it in front of you, I'm also seeing that defensive tactics, physical development, social values, and CJ process and interpersonal relations are actually part of your apprenticeship programs, but it's not part of the post requirements. If we standardize, depending on what the commission votes on, an applicant will have to have to obtain a minimum of 37 credit hours in order to be post certified, rather than the existing 25 credit hours, based on the original mandatory training requirements. This is when the post commission was first established. What I did find in review of our records is the commission did vote on including EVOC, criminal investigation, in previous meetings. However, what did not occur is to go through the AAA process. The Administrative Adjudication Act. We need to follow that process. So even though you may have voted on it previously to include EVOC, criminal investigations, and so forth, that process wasn't completed. My intent is very clear. We vote, you decide as a commission, what are the minimum mandatory classes. I will do the AAA process. I will request the commission to hold a public hearing. After the public hearing, I will send the findings to the governor, the Attorney General of Guam, After they've signed off on that, then it'll go to the legislature. Then after, if they don't put it on the floor, I believe it's after 90 days, it's law. But that's the proper way to amend Title 27, the administrative rules. So the other thing I'm doing is any of the previous amendments that we made, bring that back to this commission so that we ensure that if we're gonna amend and we're going to require anything within the post commission, that we follow the AAA requirements. So I'll do the legwork with my staff. I'll present it to the commission, and then the commission decides, and then moving forward, I will do the AAA. The only thing that's required for commission members is once you vote, we'll host a public hearing. I need the commission members here to be present for the public hearing. Somebody wants to come in and testify for or against the amendments, and then after that, we package everything and we send it forward.
John, I have a question. Is the AAA the only option,
No.
pathway, or could we vote, submit a proposed bill to the legislature and have them amend the section to include the following in addition to the current minimum?
That is correct. There's two ways. One is the AAA and the other one is the commission decides, we go to our oversight chair, we request that it be, that a bill be introduced, and then we go through the public hearing process and the governor's approval, or the legislative process to do it. But again, I'm looking at it's the administrative rules. We have the authority as long as we follow the AAA process. Yes, Chief.
Can you find out, I don't know how you're gonna find this, but when I was chair back in 2019, somebody came up to me and says, hey, you need to certify this person because she went through the Air Force Security Forces training. And so I was told, and I've never found, because there's no amendment to the GAR for post, that the Security Forces training was deemed equivalent to a post-commission certification. So thank you for bringing that up. So to my point is, you've talked about these other classes that supposedly were added to the requirement for post-commission training, but there's no amendment to the GAR, the administrative rules for post, because it didn't go through the proper hearing process. So if you can, I'm not sure how you can find out historically what were the amendments, supposed amendments to GAR for post-commission, so we can take a look at them as commission members, because I don't know, this commission has been around for a long time. I think the commission has just been voting on things and adding things, but there was really no formal hearings, like you said, for the AAA process, their administrative rulemaking. So I had gone down to the compiler of laws, and then they had actually reached out to the post commission at one time. Have you guys made any amendments to your administrative rules? Amendments to the GAR?
And
So thank you for bringing that up and making sure that we go through the formal process. So even like you said, bringing in very old stuff and just making sure that it's amended in the GAR.
correct. And I've actually consulted with the compiler of law regarding how the process is and how to proceed. I've also inquired, like Chief Ignacio did, regarding any previous amendments that the commission has made and whether or not it amended 27 GAR or even Title 17. And unfortunately, the compiler said no, she is not aware. So yes, I am looking at all the previous amendments based on the minutes, anything that you voted on as a commission. We may need, Mr. Chair, to bring that back up just as another discussion, talking point in one of the businesses, so that we can really move forward with making the amendments that we need within the statute so that we're okay. I am looking at that as well because, like I've said, the individuals that graduated with the law enforcement certificate, which as a commission we voted and to say that they can be post-certified. When I'm looking at their academic classes and I'm looking at the post requirements, it's not. So as an executive director, do I say, okay, just because they have an LA certificate, even though they didn't take juvenile justice, even though they didn't take a disability class, even though they didn't take the mental health first aid class, if the commission voted on that and it's in the GAR, the Guam administrative rules, the post commission administrative rules, then yes, I will certify. But right now, I'm like, okay, yes or no, yes or no. So what's been helpful is these applicants have actually been responsive. Because if they have not taken cultural and linguistic class, if they've not taken mental health first aid, they're actually taking it now. It's law enforcement. The last supplemental cycle for GCC, which graduated in May, those graduates actually went and took class, DSAT, and mental health first aid before I could certify them. Just to ensure that they meet the post requirements. And the other thing that has occurred is I've talked to Mr. Munoz, the department head for the criminal justice department, to say, heads up, we're making amendments, it's gonna go through, once it becomes law, this is going to be your requirements, this is what's gonna be required in order to be post-certified, so that if he needs to make any adjustments to the curriculum for the law enforcement certificate, he's willing to do that as well. So in the end, we want to make sure that anybody who receives a certificate in law enforcement is also meeting the post standards without having to say, I can't certify you because you didn't take this class. But I will look at any amendments that were, anything that the commission voted on with regards to security forces, military police from the Army, Navy security and so forth, to see if that was actually voted on by the commission.
Just one more.
Yes.
To that point about rulemaking, I believe there was a bill that was introduced, passed into law by Senator Telina Nelson that addresses some of the authority for post-commission for rulemaking. Chief Vince, you remember that?
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember.
I don't know the verbatim the language or what authority it gives us, but it gives us some authority for administrative rulemaking.
I think it might actually be in the law if you pull it up.
I will look at that.
Yeah, and then also, because I think it came up during all these discussions way back when regarding PFQPs.
Yes.
Let me want to look into that.
I will certainly look at that, and then if it needs to be discussed, I'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting. So getting back to item number 3, again, my recommendation is that we add emergency vehicle EVOC, dynamics of substance abuse, traffic law enforcement, and criminal investigations to the mandatory training requirements. Within your apprenticeships, you have defensive tactics, physical development, social values and CJ process, and interpersonal relations as well that your apprenticeship programs are going through. Is there I don't know, sir, if there's somebody who wants to make a motion regarding that. I don't think I can make a motion.
To add, or the motion to add those courses?
Correct.
Sorry, we do this already, right? We all know that we have the longest and most extensive training academy. A lot of it is in line with post-commission, the training program here, but also is in line with the U.S. Department of Labor. Because we use the apprenticeship program, it's actually a U.S. Department of Labor apprenticeship program. So that's why we follow that model. That's why at the end of their hours that they commit to the program, they actually get a U.S. Department of Labor apprenticeship certificate. So I don't know if you want to maybe have the agencies look if they want to adopt this.
Why don't we?
I know we want to make it standard, but I mean, do they need to go back talk to their training officers? But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
Fred's argument is, well, we're not going to use EVOC at DOC.
You never know.
Thank you for bringing that
Never
up.
know.
What's the downside if we don't add this? We don't get certified post-certification, correct?
I mean, the downside is if you're looking at, qualified people as youth service workers, youth service assistants, the downside is, are they receiving the proper training to be able to perform their job? Because if you feel that, if your agency feels that that is the minimum I need for my YSW ones or my assistants, that's on the agency.
And can I just add in, because training in staff, our training right now, we're gonna submit to the post commission, sort of like our training mission and plan of our training, because the thing about it is, the GCC apprenticeship, program, and are falling behind and graduating, and then they have to fill those they have to be. It's difficult to take them out of the security platoon already when they're doing, when we're short, to have them come over and take some of those apprenticeship programs. And I just remember when we had this, the post-commission category 1, what are the minimum things, but it's flexible, where it said that all persons certified as category shall possess at the minimum a criminal justice academy certificate from accredited college or university. I remember when that discussion came up, it could be at the University of Guam or at GC or even at Central Texas College, a criminal justice thing. And then it said, or post-commission certified training program. And then I thought it would stop there with the period because then all of us as post-commission members, hey, here's a training program that we're gonna come up with, right? And this is what we're gonna do, and then we had a majority vote like we did in April of 2015, it's on record, the minimum. I brought it before when I was chief of police to vote on the police advanced training program, and it was a majority vote at that time to certify that program, which, going back into records, have there ever been any other programs besides the Guam Police Advanced Training Program that has ever been certified, right? And that's on record on April of 2015 when that vote was taken, right? And I think the flexibility is there, that's like what Chief Ignacio said, right? If we're coming up with our training program and bring it before the commissioner, the vote, and say, would you be able to look at this? And this is what our corrections officers will function, with the type of courses. But apparently what had happened is nothing is always perfect, right? Lessons are learned. We went into, they'll have at least the minimum following skills. Juvenile justice delinquency, and said, why would adult corrections officers, have to, get into juvenile? That's at DYA, or something, but, why would we have to be taking something like that, right? So that's just an example of maybe good intentions from the old post-commission members, but maybe it is, I think the flexibility, if it's still there, that a member of post-commission, voting member can bring up their training program, have the executive director look at it, and then say, okay, we're not locked into saying it must be juvenile, if juvenile ain't there, then your program's gonna be denied for a majority vote on it to certify as a post-commission program.
And if I may, so agency specific is something you're looking at.
Yeah.
But when you look at 27 GAR and you look at Title 27, it's based on category.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at what is the category. If your agency is a category 1, and let's talk this through. If your agency is a category 1, and you're looking and you're saying, well, I don't need them to take EVOC, I don't need them to do this, criminal investigation, do you need to be category 1? If we decide as a commission, if you decide as a commission what the minimum training requirements are for category 1, which is what we're doing now, then that's the standard for all the agencies. It does not matter if you're DOC, GPD, because it's based on the category. However, if you feel that you want to go from category 2 to category 1, or from category 1 to category 2, we still need to bring it before the commission, go through that AAA process, or go through the legislature and have Title 17 and Title 27 amended to move from category 1 to category 2. So that's really, we're here and we're only discussing category one. Because next, after category one, my intent is to do category two and category three, because there's no standard on category two, there's nothing on category three, but there's standards on category one, which is by law. So we need to make sure we're following the law.
Just to close off, I wonder if we adopt the standardized training, like the name implies for post. Would that also be easier for DOA? Because some of the issues I'm having right now is if a DOC officer wants to transfer to the Guam Police Department, you cannot transfer.
Right.
He has to apply and start off as a recruit. So that's some of the issues we're having. So that may allow for intergovernmental transfers, lateral transfers, to become a little bit more smooth. You can transition from one category, one agency to another. And I'm not sure if that's something DOC officers that have joined the Guam Police Department were allowed to lateral. They have to start as a recruit, which kind of doesn't make a lot of sense when they're coming in with 5-10 years of experience and they have to start a recruit again.
You know, Mr. Chair, I agree, or Mr. Director, I agree. When you take a look at, and we've had this issue too with respect to customs. We had an officer who, as a law enforcement officer, and then like 3 years later wanted to come back. The issue may lie with the term, but if you can show that you meet the requirements, then that might be something that maybe we need to work with the Department of Administration with. Because even in the military, they do that. You go from branch of service to a different branch. Sometimes you just have to take their skills training, so you don't lose anything. So to caveat off of that, if we're able to do that, it would allow for smoother transitions between agencies. But I think that warrants further discussion, possibly at a later time. But going back to the category one, category two, right? Something tells me that this also warrants a little bit more analysis, because maybe one of the things that we may want to do is maybe revamp the categories and find out there might be actually certain areas that we can say, okay, this doesn't look like a category one, it could be a category 1-2, right? And we create it. Because right now we have different categories, we have different training requirements, and the commission back in the time, our hands were tied, right? Because we're very short on personnel, and there's no real institutional knowledge to keep moving the process forward. And thankfully, the executive director now is here to be able to grease the skids. I would say if we're able to take a look at the different categories, and then even take a look at who classifies what, because my understanding is that there are some positions that don't even look like they fit law enforcement, but yet they're classified in category one, right? And I think maybe it's time that maybe as a commission, we're able to take a look and maybe truly give a better definition of what the different categories are and the requirements.
If there's a motion to table items 3 and 4, then we can proceed to the next one. Somebody want to make a motion?
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, just an admin thing on item number 5, police 1. Unfortunately, fire and ARF are not here, but I have added Fire Rescue 1 to our subscription with Lexipol. So what will happen is if the folks from ARF, Fire, and Forestry will be able to, if they register, if they accept the invite from Police 1, they will actually be able to go to the Fire Rescue Library to do the courses. So, for those in the law enforcement, you have Police 1 Library. For those in corrections, you have the Corrections Library. We now have the Fire Rescue 1 Library available for ARF, aircraft rescue firefighters, Guam Fire Department, and
Mr.
force.
Lozama, apologies, did we skip number 4?
No,
We tabled,
Tabled 4,
yeah,
okay, just
3
want
and
to make
4,
sure, sorry.
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4, because we
My
can't move
apologies.
to 4 unless,
Same process, the issue.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the process. So again, that's important. That's great news for the commission, because now we have 3 different libraries that we can go to. But we do need your assistance. If you have new folks, if you have people that left your agencies, let me know. I can update it. Our subscription for Police One was 1,400 members. With the addition of Fire Rescue One, it's actually 1,650. 250 subscriptions for Fire Rescue One and 1,400 for Police One. So give me the names of those that have since left your agencies, moved on, I can transfer them. New employees, give me the information so I can add them. I'll have Mr. Blaine Smith invite them. Once they accept it, we can start doing that, having them work on it. The other reason why they need to accept Police One or invitation is all the post-approved applications from the past, including those that I've done myself, which is not that many, I am actually uploading that to the individual's training record. So if they need it, the post-approved application is there. And so that's great. Training and Staff Division, I know that airport training, their folks have actually sent out training requirements to their staff, and the staff are doing it. So is it a great thing? Yes, because now there's some classes that you may not need to sit in the classroom for if the officers are able to take it online. If your agency is working 12-hour shifts, do you really have time to pull them off shift for them to go into a classroom for 4 hours? Let's look at taking advantage of Police One, Fire Rescue One, Corrections Academy for some of those training requirements as well. Okay? Again, I talked about the membership, we're really good. And then once everybody's in it, we're gonna come to your training and staff, we're gonna have a meeting, and then we're gonna say, okay, what are the annual training requirements that we need to do? Yes, Chief?
Just, when does the subscription expire, and is post-commission covering it moving forward, or at some
Yes.
point are we gonna absorb this cost?
The post-commission will absorb the cost for the subscriptions. I will pay for the subscription. It ends on February 28th. In December, I will do the procurement process to have that subscription renewed.
It ends February next year.
Yes, February, March 1st to February 28th.
Got it.
And the cost for the subscription for both Fire Rescue One and Police One is, I believe, $74,000. I have a budget of 75, which covers that. So
Thank you.
I'm actually looking at already renewing that subscription. So that's it for item 5, Mr. Chair. Item 6.
Okay, so the term for the post chairman and the vice chairman is coming up, and so I guess did you want to push it till election to next time we meet in October?
It's expired.
No, it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to elect this one.
my apologies, it's expired, so I guess we need to elect the post chairman and the vice chairman. So I open the floor for nominations.
Saturday? Oh, I mean, that's a different election.
I'll make a motion to nominate Chief Ignacio for the position of chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Vice chairman? Nominations for the vice chairman?
I nominate Rosanna Castro.
I second.
Okay, forward. Good. She's good. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we have The election is over. We now have the chairman, which is the police department chief, and the vice chairman is Roseanne. So welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay.
We now move on to, or before we move, can we take a look at the minutes, right?
Yes, we need to discuss the,
Please.
if you don't have a copy, I believe,
It was passed out.
Any discussion on the meeting minutes? Any amendments, changes?
Chairman, I motion to approve subject to any corrections.
I have one, on page 8 of the meeting minutes, I know I mentioned, DOA, used to have training at the DOA training rooms, such as leadership trainings, and is there a way for DOA to reach out, for stuff? So, I just wanted to ask, is there any sort of feedback from DOA since they're here? Because some of the trainings I received as a government of Guam employee wasn't just grievances or, the grievance process or how to do personal evaluations. But at DOA training, I even took 2 or 3 courses in grants, management of grants, so I just wanted to find out, is there any feedback from Department of Administration, how their training is gonna be offered? Is there gonna be any sort of thing that is gonna be shared with the Post Commission on training opportunities?
Francis Bisco from DOA HR. Let's see, unfortunately I wasn't present in the last meeting, so it's what you're talking about is new for me, right?
Yeah.
So what we can say is that we are in the midst, because of going back to COVID and things like that, our training rooms had to be used for other purposes, for assistance and so forth like that. But my latest understanding is that we'll be opening up those, getting those rooms back soon. So that's one thing that we're looking at. So once we get at least one room back soon, we're of course going to be looking at getting more training courses being available.
What we can do,
Can I
members,
add
is
something to that?
if I may, we can add that as part of our meeting requirements, is just a DOA update. We'll put that on the agenda as well, and if they have an update, then they can provide us an update. Go ahead, sorry.
So we had training yesterday with DOA. Patrick Artero, who heads the training branch. Since COVID, a lot of their training has diminished. A lot of the people who were conducting trainings have either stopped it or has not re-engaged with DOA. In addition, they don't have a training room anymore. It's been utilized for other programs. So they do their trainings at various locations depending. GPD was able to give us their training room at Hakobotan yesterday. We did inquire about other training. They said they're working on trying to rebuild their training. Right now, they're just doing a lot of personnel, grievance, adverse action, how to do work planning and performance evaluation training at this point. But their calendar is, I think, June or July, they had only like 6 different trainings for the entire month. So they're still trying to rebuild their training program again.
I just want to commend DOA because it's positive when all different government agencies would meet at DOA, smoking.
Field calendars.
Smoke training. It was intense training that, a lot of them offered during their time. Very resourceful.
Any further discussion on the minutes? Corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we move into item 6, open discussion, any announcements, anything going on with your agencies?
So the Guam Police Department sent out 2 invitations to all law enforcement agencies. In-house, because of our recent promotion of new Sergeant 1s and connecting with Director Bergalio's statements about leadership training academy for my newly promoted sergeants. So day 1 is kind of going to go over our internal general orders and internal affairs, but be good for other agencies to kind of see, things that we discovered as management, where there's missteps in supervision, and where a supervisor can have a more active role in, their employees while they're out in the field. Day 2 will be employee grievance and adverse action.
So,
Kathy D is supposed to teach employee grievance and adverse action. Day 3 is from the Attorney General's perspective. This is things that, we're missing in police reports, problems that arise during criminal trials, how to prepare for grand jury. And then day 4 and 5 is leadership and supervision by Dr. John Rivera. So most of you know Dr. John Rivera. He's been a long-time adjunct faculty at the University of Guam. So currently with the Guam Police Department, but we have room for 50 people. We have 19 new police sergeants from the Guam Police. So if you guys want to join in, let us know. Following that, the Guam Police Department has been coordinating with FLETC in Georgia. And so they're coming out for a 2-day leadership academy. That's 90 people, and we've secured the School of Business and Public Admin, the ITNE lecture hall. to accommodate that training, so that's another opportunity. This is a condensed version of a 2-week course that FLETC offers. I'm not sure if any of you guys have sent your people to the FLETC Leadership Academy, but yeah, I've sent about 4 people there already. Yeah, so it's a very intense, good leadership academy that they present. So it's going to be a condensed version, but you know, at least they're coming out to provide the course.
You know what?
Yeah, and next week, August 5th or the 9th, is the GPD Leadership Academy. And then the following week is the FLETC Leadership Academy. Letters of invitation were all sent out to all of your directors,
Okay.
respectively. Yeah, but if you haven't received it, please reach out to my office and just talk to Lieutenant Felix Camacho. Okay. I will look forward to your attending. Keep your presence.
You guys know the summer youth employment program ended. The last payroll payday for your summer interns are tomorrow at Gander Shopping Center from 10 to 6. So if your office is getting calls regarding where they can pick up their last check, it's tomorrow from 10 to 6 at the Gander Shopping Center Center Court. Okay, and thank you all for whoever hosted our summer interns.
Just Liberation Day Carnival. I really do appreciate, we're all struggling with resources, especially manpower. But the Guam Police Department cannot do it alone, so I appreciate all of you for providing assistance for your officers for the liberation. We have the election this Saturday, and again, all of you have come out, and support in providing assistance with the stationary polling. Thank you for that. And then don't forget, we have the general in November, Super Tuesday. So I look forward to you still smiling and giving me your people. Thank you very much. And in closing, I would like to thank Chief Vince and Chief Ray for their past 2 years of leadership. Thank you for all that you've done for the Post Commission, and we look forward to continue our partnership. I'd like to thank Mr. Rizama for taking this job on as the Executive Director, and thank you for moving things along. It's a short time that you were here. We're actually able to have some focus on the Post Commission, and we were able to actually stay focused on what needs to be done as a commission as a whole. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else?
I just want to add that we'll have the definite date, we'll share it, and I'll send an email out. But we're gonna have an after-action event, for our we had a 5-day lockdown at Department of Corrections, for firearm smuggle in, and we're gonna have now that my training section is here, they'll be assisting when we do hold this after action thing to invite federal and also AGs and different law enforcement. It'll be the fishbowl effect. My security people will be saying what their actions were that night, how they went into the emergency plan, and then everyone can watch that and then take that back to their organization just to see. And if there's any inputs, of course, we'll welcome that in terms of how we did our response to that particular stressful event that happened at Department of Corrections. And it's like a learning opportunity for learning too, how we can sort of like strengthen our emergency operations plan for something like that. But I'll provide the date. I was just joking, we'll just hold everyone's cell phones before you go in, so you're not recording or saying, man, is this what happened? No, I'm just kidding, we won't hold this happen. You're welcome to bring your cell phone inside there, but please don't record while our security people are talking about some of the things that they did. Thank you.
Anything else? Otherwise, our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 3rd at 10:30 a.m. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Time is 11:40.